Good morning, everybody. Parents, not much for you today. It's week 3, Thursday. I did think of something that was on my list of things to do when I was in school, which would be to send out the Easter supply list for our party. So good news is you're off the hook. If you signed up for the Easter party, don't worry about it. Trying to find the silver lining, in a few things here. We're going to Zoom tomorrow at 1 o'clock again. And again, if there's a problem with that, let me know. I'm trying to get in touch with as many people as I can. So Zoom tomorrow at 1. Okay? And kids, for you guys, for reading today, I said take a virtual field trip and do some research. And I thought maybe you could fit whatever your favorite animal is when you go on that virtual field trip. Let's say it's a hippopotamus. Do some more reading and research on that animal so you get some more reading involved there. Today, being the weather that it is a great day to catch up on your reading. If you didn't do 20 minutes on the day, so it was nice and sunny, maybe you could do a little extra reading today. And then writing goes into that virtual field trip and your research, and that you could possibly write about that animal and do a little report on it. Okay? It doesn't have to be the long report, but it could be of any report. Some facts about it, habitats, things like that, lifespan, life cycle, anything that you find interesting. Fun facts as well. All right? Spelling, we usually would do a pre-test in school, and so do a pre-test, practice your words that you missed. So if you miss 5 of the 10 words, then practice those. Remember, the contractions are going to need to have a space for the apostrophe, and you're combining 2 words, and see how you do. All right? If you get a 100, kind of off the hook today for spelling and spelling practice. But, you could always add a little extra in there. Math, for the calendar today, it said word problems. So we do those every day. So I'm going to do some of those, and then you might have some sheets that go along with that. But we'll go over yesterday's problem and today's. And there's something I forgot that I kind of included, and then I forgot to include it yesterday. So I'm going to include that as well for today. So my book recommendation before I move on is Amelia Bedelia, and she gets in all kinds of trouble. This is a Christmas one. I just happened to find it. So Amelia Bedelia, and she gets in literally thinks about everything, very literal. So, but it makes it funny. And I know a lot of people like to read those, and there's a ton of them. All right, so Amelia Bedelia is my book recommendation for today. All right, so let's look at yesterday's, and then I'll kind of review through the sheets that we have up. The flowers in Kennedy's garden are blooming. Stop. There are 3 roses, 3 buttercups, 3 sunflowers, 3 daisies, and 3 tulips. All right? How many flowers are there in all? So one thing I did have was question on was the tape diagram. So 3 roses, 3, and I'm going to just put B for buttercups, 3 sunflowers, S, 3 daisies, 3 tulips. Okay, so let me see. I have roses, check, buttercups, check, sunflowers, check, daisies, check, and tulips. I didn't use this one, so I can just take it off. This whole thing should equal, we're not sure. That's what we're looking for. Draw a tape diagram to match the math problem. I did. Number bonds would work too. We'll do one of those in a second. Write a repeated addition sentence. So 3 plus 3 plus 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 3 plus 3 equals 3 and 3 is 6, and 3 more is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 flowers. Okay, so there's 15 flowers in all, and so we know that this question mark now equals 15. So I drew my picture, wrote a repeated addition sentence. I'm still going to think about doing my number bond, and an answer statement. Kennedy has 15 flowers in all. So the tape diagram, if you make it a little bit bigger when you're drawing, you don't need it all. Cross off the part you don't need, and just put your brackets in the parts that you did use. A number bond, let's flip this over. And we'll work on the back. So a number bond would be the same thing. 15 flowers. That would probably be a question mark to start. And 3, 3, 3. Let me see. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I need more. 10, 11, 12. So a number bond would have worked as well. This is the total number of flowers. And this is daisies, sunflowers, roses, tulips. I'm forgetting one. Roses, daisies, sunflowers, tulips, and buttercups. Okay? So that's the way we would do a number bond. A little bit hard to see there with the writing coming through, but hopefully that's... So there's lots of different ways to do that and come up with the same answer. Okay? One thing I thought of that we have been doing is we have 5 groups of 3 equals 15. This work that we're doing now is laying the groundwork for multiplication. So if you want to extend it a little bit, 5 groups of 3 equals 15. All right? And that's starting your multiplication facts and memorization of those. All right? So we didn't do that for these either. So let's see, we have 48, but we have 4 groups of 12. Now this is a little bit harder, but multiplication facts do go up through 12 and even higher. But in 3rd grade we'll look at that. So 4 groups of 12 equals 48. Always try to think of your label as well. Okay? Sometimes I forget to add that in. And then the last one here. Oops. Is Devin, and he had 6 groups of 2, so 6 groups of 2 equals 12. And 12, what were they? Markers. So that's a little review of yesterday's work. Let's look at what we have for today. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a couple things. How we're going to organize that. So let's read it, and then we'll do some learning. This one's a longer one. They're expecting a little bit more today. So Archer is in line at the bank with her mom. There are 4 teller windows, and 3 people are standing in line at each window. Let's break that apart, unpack the problem. Archer's in line at the bank with her mom. Okay, there's no important information there. We know she's at the bank and she's in a line. There are 4 people, or 4 teller windows, and 3 people are standing in line at each window. All right, stop. So 4 people in line, and there are 4 teller windows with 3 people in each line. What are we supposed to do? Draw an array to show, I'm going to circle this word array. Draw an array to show the people in line at the bank. So you're doing an RDW, but now you're going to look for something called an array. Write the total number of people and answer statement, okay? So before you do this, you're probably saying, what's an array? Well, if we were in school, we'd be learning about arrays today. So we're going to do a little sampling of those. What we've done before is we've taken something like this, and we have, say, circle groups of 4. So this would be a little sloppy. Group of 4, group of 4, group of 4. So now I know I have 3 groups of 4. All right? But when they put it in an array, you just organize it a little bit more. So let me show you. All right. I think technical difficulty here. All right, there we go. We're back in business. All right, so we have 4, 4, and 4. So these are called rows that go across. From right to left is called a row. Up and down is called a column. So now what I did is I put these in groups of 3, groups of 4. So I had circled them in 4. So there's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups in the column. And you can flip this array either way. It still is going to equal the same amount. So if I said 3 rows of 4, 3 times 4 equals, well, let me see, 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, so 3 rows of 4 would be 12. Or, if you did the column way, 4 groups of 3 will also equal 12. So this is kind of like starting your fact family for multiplication. Again, I'm extending it a little bit by putting the multiplication facts in, but if you were to arrange these x's in a what they would call an array, this is what we did. We just organized it so it's a little neater. So our hearts, let's decide on our hearts. We want to put them in groups of 2. So I have 2, 2, and 2. A little sloppy there, but I have rows of 2. So 2 rows, or 2 with 2 rows with 3 rows of 2, sorry, is 6, and 3 columns of 2 also equals 6. So again, multiplication is an extension, but that's how you're building your arrays. So you're going to see these arrays come up now, and you're going to have to figure out, if they say how many rows are there, rows are right to left, columns are up and down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of 3. 4 rows of 3. So be looking for those, but I'll be walking you through it. But we're talking about arrays, and you can check that out, and you can practice some arrays on your own. You could have someone put some, let's do a quick one today. If I were just setting this up for in the class, maybe I'd do something like that. There are, so and I want to do groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 rows of 5 equals 10. But if I want to do columns, then I'm going to have 5 columns of 2, and that also equals 10. All right? So you could just draw some dots, just draw some X's, kind of unorganized, and then organize them in an array. All right? And think about that. If you flip that array either way, it'll still equal the same amount. It's just looking at it in a different way. Yesterday we talked about, for science, we talked about this egg and how it's developing with an eye. And afterward, my 4-year-old came in and said, oh, look at that picture of a dolphin. So I thought maybe I would address that today. It doesn't really look like a chick at all, but as it develops, you will see it coming more and more, looking more and more like a chick. The development will start to look like that. And today I thought I'd talk a little bit about candling. So at day 3, it's very small. Like I said, this is blown up. So I'm going to send a picture through a mind, and you'll see what an egg looks like at about 3 days. I found one on the internet, and you can also Google candling an egg, and lots of YouTube videos come up. Some are a little bit wordy, and they do a lot of talking, and some are just quick. When we're in the classroom and we candle eggs, we will use a flashlight and a paper towel tube, and you put the flashlight on one end of the paper towel tube and then put the egg on the other end, and it will light it up, and you can look through and see what the chick looks like. So anyway, maybe we'll give that a try and see if we can do a simple, but they're really tiny right now, and I don't know if it would show up on the computer. So anyway, this is about where we are. We're 1 day ahead of that, so maybe a little more development here, probably more blood vessels at this point. And remember, this is the yolk, and that's why the blood vessels are reaching out all around, because it's eating that. That's what's helping this to keep developing and growing. It's eating that yolk as its food. That's its food source as it grows inside there. All right? So that's it for today. If anyone needs anything, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm glad to help out however I can. Think about arrays, and that's a good practice. But remember, today is the first day of arrays. So it's new. We'll be reviewing it, and probably by the time we're done, you'll be sick of hearing me talk about arrays. All right? Have a great day. Get lots of reading done today. Do some virtual field trips because it's kind of a good day to be cuddled up on the couch in a blanket and doing those kind of things. All right? Catch up on anything you might have missed over the last few days. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.